This is it. This is an Ethereum breakout that is taking us to an all-time high. Are you ready? Do you have enough Ethereum in your bags? Is your altcoin bag holding enough gems? There will be no further announcements. This is the final call for all passengers on flight ETH 10,000. Please take your seats and get ready for takeoff. This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill. Please, all passengers, take your seats on board the spaceship.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, start, 2, 1, booster ignition, and liftoff of the Space Shuttle Discovery, returning to the space station, paving the way for future missions beyond.
Yep, that's it. That's a spaceship that's taking us up to ETH $10,000. And if you watched the channel over the weekend, we told you this was going to happen. We told you to not look at the XRP pump and dump. We don't think that you should get involved there, but you should be buying Ethereum. And today we're going to look at the fundamentals driving Ethereum. I'm Crypto Man Run, and I come to you each and every day at 10 a.m. EST. Yep, I bring you my crypto love and my crypto wisdom on a time where the whole world can listen. It's 7 a.m. in Los Angeles, guys. Wakey, wakey, rise and shine. There's an ETH breakout going on, and we need you guys to participate. We're going to push these markets to all-time highs. If you're in New York, 10 a.m., you're in the middle of your day. Europe, 3 p.m., Africa, 5 p.m. Let's get this show on the road. And if we know that if there's an ETH breakout, well, who follows? Alts are going to follow. The question is, do you have enough good alts in your bag? Because it's not really about having alts, but you want good alts in your bag that can 100x. If you don't have those alts, today we may have one or two suggestions for you. And then we shift our attention to Bitcoin. We know that Cryptos Are Us uncovered a big seller in the market, but is there anything to worry about? I don't think there's anything to worry about, and we're going to talk about that today. And then we're going to shift our attention to Bitcoin, to billionaires buying Bitcoin. Elon Musk is the latest one of them, and we've got a recording from the Clubhouse session that he filmed. So take your seats, prepare for liftoff, but not before you tell your friends about this flight all the way to $10,000 on ETH. Hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, because that is what gets our content out to the community. Now, guys, I uploaded some videos on the weekend and YouTube started to ban the videos. So you need to share that hit the subscribe, and share the videos. And most importantly, I need you guys to hit that bell, because that bell tells you when I'm coming on and when I'm doing episodes out of the blue. And those are the episodes that are designed to save you money and to make you guys, or all of us, the most profitable crypto community in the world. So what I need you to do is I need you to hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell, and then just watch what I said to the guys on the weekend. Watch this video. So I've warned you guys, be careful. This is a pump and dump. You guys could get caught and you could lose all your money. But if you do want to trade, follow the trading advice that I gave you earlier today. It's not financial advice. It's just some advice on how you guys should be trading this. And if you want to buy something this weekend, if you insist on buying something this weekend, then have a look at this. I've been telling you about this for a long time. I've been telling you guys about this for a long time. But Grayscale, the biggest buyer of Bitcoin in the world, hasn't been buying Ethereum for the last 4 months or 3 months. They've been in a closed period. They haven't been buying Ethereum for 3 or 4 months. And they announced on Friday that they are back. They're back in the market. As of 4 p.m. EST yesterday, Grayscale Ethereum Trust resumed the private placements of its shares in the Ethereum Trust. The trust's private placement is offered on a periodic basis throughout the year and is now available to accredited investors. What does this mean? It means that they've got a whole lot of backlog of orders. They had a 4-week backlog for the Bitcoin orders, and now they're probably going to have a 4-week backlog on their Ethereum orders. So if you want a good trade, stay away from the XRP pump and dump. You're not going to make money on the XRP pump and dump unless you're an experienced trader and you know how to short. And if you don't know how to short, follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is CryptoManRun, because I may be posting when I think you should be selling this thing if you're going short. But don't buy it, because if you're buying it, you're going to be the fool. If you want to buy something, like I said to you, buy the Grayscale, buy Ethereum. This may be one of the last opportunities that you get to buy Ethereum, because when Grayscale come in, and they are coming this week, they've said it in a tweet, they're going to start buying this thing like crazy and drive the price of Ethereum up. So I'm expecting, if the markets hold this week, and this is a big disclaimer, if the markets hold this week, then I would be buying Ethereum. I certainly wouldn't be buying anything else. Why am I buying Ethereum? Because the Grayscale Trust is buying Ethereum, and they've got 4 weeks of back orders that they need to resolve before they start buying this. And start buying Ethereum, because the biggest buyers in the market are back and they're buying Ethereum. Also, you guys have asked, you said switch off the background music. So today we're going to try and do a show with no background music. I'd love to get your thoughts in the comments as to whether you prefer the faster show with the background music, or whether you prefer this kind of show without background music, because you guys are the community and you guys make the show. And on that note, I must thank the community, because because of the power of the community and the votes that you guys bring us. So thank you so much. Now let's get back to ETH and why we think that this ETH pump is the big ETH pump, because we said that this is the ETH pump that's going to take us to the moon. Why are we so convinced? Well, there are a few factors that have aligned. And if you look at the factors that have aligned, you may too be convinced that this is the actual ETH pump, the one that's going to take us right through and break through the all-time highs. I want to show you the ETH chart. Let's get the ETH chart open right over here. So this is a look at the ETH chart, which you see over here. Now, the main, sorry, that's not the ETH chart. Let us get you the ETH chart. So let's look at the ETH chart. What you can see is on the top of the chart, ETH has tested this all-time high many times and actually can't break through. But as Cheds will tell you in his technical analysis slot, which we're going to bring him on in a couple of minutes, this is actually a great sign, because it keeps testing and testing and testing. And eventually, once it's going to actually break through. But, you know, I don't always rely on the technicals. In fact, I'm much more a fundamentals guy. And I want to talk to you guys much more about the fundamentals. Fundamentally, ETH has the adoption. I want to show you guys a chart. It's the numbers of the Bitcoin price, or the Bitcoin numbers against the Ethereum numbers. What you'll notice here is that even though ETH has a smaller market cap and is doing less volume, less transaction value, the number of transactions on the Ethereum network is huge. In the last 24 hours, there have been 1.3 million transactions on the Ethereum network versus only 319,000. So 25% that on the Bitcoin network. Of course, the transaction volumes on ETH are much smaller. They're much smaller. They're transactions of $4,000 versus $59,000. And the number of active addresses, if you look at Bitcoin and Ethereum, the number of active addresses in the last 24 hours is exactly the same, or very similar. In fact, Bitcoin had 900,000 addresses and ETH had 700,000 addresses. Why are we so excited about this? Well, because this is all about fundamentals. And the fundamentals here are that Ethereum is following Metcalfe's law. And if you remember, we spoke about Metcalfe's law many times. And this is the law that actually defines the value of the network, or the value of network effects. And if you want to look at the value of network effects, what you do is you say the value of a network is the value of its participants squared. And because we see such big adoption in Ethereum, in fact, so much adoption that it's actually catching up to Bitcoin in terms of the number of active addresses, now may be an amazing time to buy Ethereum. Look at the relative valuation, and that's the network value to Metcalfe's law. Bitcoin is sitting at a 0.82, and Ethereum is sitting at a 0.3, which means that right now, in order for Ethereum to equal Bitcoin's valuation, the price of ETH has to be around $4,000. And so fundamentally, we think that this is completely undervalued. And that's why today we should be putting our money much more into ETH than into Bitcoin. The next big thing is that retail is here, guys. Let's not kid ourselves and say that retail is not here, because retail is here. How do we know this? Well, everyone must be calling you guys now and asking you for tips on what to buy. Should I buy this one? Should I buy that one? And in fact, if I look at my Telegram group, and there's about 10,500 people in our group is hungry to buy. They keep looking for things to buy. And that's a representation of what's happening. The guys are buying and buying and buying and buying without actually paying attention to fundamentals. And when that happens, that for me is a massive, massive, massive warning sign. And I urge you guys to look for the warning signs. We're going to talk about the warning signs in just a couple of minutes. Then you've got the existing investors, and that's people like Raoul Paul and Lynn Alden. They came here for the returns on Bitcoin, and then they discovered Ethereum. And they realized that Ethereum was completely undervalued when you compare it to Bitcoin. And so they're looking for the extra alpha or the extra returns. And if they are looking for the extra alpha or extra returns, they go from Bitcoin and they move down to ETH. And that's exactly what happened to Raoul Paul and to Lynn Alden. If you remember, Raoul Paul was a self-proclaimed Bitcoin maximalist. In fact, he said, I'm only into Bitcoin. And then what happened? He started to look at Ethereum and he realized that Ethereum had the network effect. And he started to buy Ethereum and then he started to buy alts. And that's the same thing that happened with Lynn Alden, who, by the way, we have Lynn Alden on our show later on this week. And we can ask her about why she went into Ethereum. But that's a big thing that you should be looking at. And that's the existing investors looking for what they call alpha. The next thing, which is a big, big, big thing, is the Grayscale Trust. Now, you'll remember that the Grayscale Trust and Grayscale today are the biggest buyers by far of Bitcoin. They closed their Ethereum trust, and their Ethereum trust hasn't taken deposits for at least the last 3 months. And as of 4 p.m. on Friday, the Grayscale Trust opened subscriptions for shares in the trust, which effectively means that they're starting to take subscriptions from shares in the trust, and that means that they're going to start buying Ethereum soon. Have they started buying Ethereum? Well, the answer is no. How do we know? Because we look at the numbers from Ethereum in the last 24 hours, and you can see their buying momentum on Bitcoin has slowed a lot. In fact, they bought 41,000 Bitcoin in the first couple of days after their trust had reopened, and they started taking in the new applications. When you look at the same number on Ethereum, they haven't started buying it. In fact, in the last week, they've sold 6,430 Ethereum. So that means that we can expect Grayscale any day now to start buying. And in fact, I think that if you look at the buying today, the buying that took us to the all-time high, that was Grayscale actually buying in the market. And we'll see those numbers reflected in tomorrow's statistics. Then there's another big thing happening on ETH, and you guys need to know this. The CME, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, which is the biggest futures exchange in the world, is launching the Ethereum futures contract on the 8th of Feb. Yep, that's just a week away, or just under a week away. Why is that so important? Well, it means that the institutions who now want to get exposure to Ethereum can get exposure through this cash-settled future. What do we mean by cash-settled? We mean that they never actually hold the Ethereum and deliver the Ethereum, but they settle in cash. So even though this is not a full Monty, we do believe that this creates awareness for Ethereum, and this is exactly what happened with Bitcoin. But I caution you guys here, because the last time this happened on Bitcoin, look at what happened. On the futures date, where you can see I've marked with a big X, the price went up a little bit. And then the price crashed. In fact, the price crashed quite a bit. The price went from 10,400 all the way down to 4,800, and then over time started to extend its way up. So be careful here, because the whales may come in on the 8th of Feb and start manipulating the Ethereum price. You can do that through the use of futures. And that's why I say to you guys, be careful here, be careful here, be careful here. So the fundamentals have all aligned, but the question is, what's happening on the technicals with Ethereum? And for that, I've got my technical master, Big Cheds. Big Cheds, welcome to CryptoBanter.com. We love having you on the show, my brother. Tell me what the graph or the chart for Ethereum looks like at the moment.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure. And as he said, guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. That's how we get the word out. So you want to take a look at Ethereum. Let me share my screen. Let's get the party started.
Let's get this party started. Well, the party started earlier today, I'll tell you that much. If you're watching your altcoin bag, or certainly I watched my altcoin bag, and there was a big party going on in my altcoin bag. Keen to look at what you're charting now. We'll start off with Ethereum, then we'll go on with the rest of the show. And then I want to talk to you about alts, because it's all in the alt bag. So tell me what you're seeing on Ethereum, Cheds.
Ethereum is interesting. Ethereum was actually leading the way before Bitcoin broke out. I'm trying to remember when it was. Maybe it'd be back in July, August, when we started to do that DeFi thing. We started to get that DeFi craze, of which I know nothing about. But you can really see Ethereum really starting to take off. If you want to just go back, and it's worth it to identify kind of key levels, and you kind of see how this key resistance level was established right around $300. We broke through it. You see how the price really tested support nicely before lifting off. And then we established, another horizontal tier, so to speak, right here, and kind of the rest is history. This is a weekly chart, of course. If we zoom out, we're kind of hanging around right there at that all-time high or just past the all-time high. This is a critical area, Ran, because it's very easy to put in a double top, and the double top doesn't have to be right here. It can be a little bit higher. It can be a little bit lower. That's why it's critical for bulls to kind of turn this into a support level and keep pushing higher. Because if we do see some kind of rejection here, Ethereum doesn't have a ton of support really until, right, that $600 to $700 range, which is quite a ways down. That's not to say it's going to test it, because of course Ethereum is quite bullish. We'll kind of jump into a daily chart right now. I have the Bollinger Band on as well. So you can see here on the daily chart, we've been consolidating in the upper part of the range. You can see a very clear level.
We've tested the all-time high many times in the last 3 weeks. We've tested it, and we've always closed under the all-time high. I'm thinking that if you take the fundamentals and you take this momentum, it's time to break it now.
Yeah, but you're not going to get a clear break. Charting, this is classical charting. I'm about to draw an ascending triangle, which has an upward slanting hypotenuse. But you don't get a lot of clear things here. So, for example, let's take this little shadow, and you mentioned this upper shadow. You mentioned we didn't close. This would be an out of line move, an early move. You see, it's attempting to break out and coming back. So really, we could close here at 1465. That wouldn't be exciting for me. I'd want to see a higher close to really fully cement that breakout and that new all-time high. The point I'm trying to make, perhaps not so eloquently, is this whole area is dangerous if we don't have a sustained big push through. So what we see is resistance. We see a rising support. We can kind of play those two channels and look to see which one of them breaks. In my estimation, based on the on-balance volume, showing the accumulation, and kind of a nice steady RSI here in the middle, plenty of room to run. Still quite bullish on Ethereum. I know some of the alts are going crazy as well. We can get to those, whenever you want, but I think Ethereum is still bullish. I want to see a sustained break, not just a little close, 1450. I'd like to see a 1500 or higher close, Rand, to be a little more confident.
Okay, so you're not 100% convinced. You're not putting your money into Ethereum right now. I've convinced you of the fundamentals though, right, Cheds? Fundamentally, you agree with me that Ethereum is very undervalued when it comes to when you compare it to Bitcoin.
No, I don't, because I'm not qualified to make that opinion. I'm just a guy. I look at price action. I can tell you from my view, it's got momentum. It has liquidity. That's what you need.
We could make a
what's
killer.
It worth? I don't know what it's worth. You tell me what it's worth. What I can sell to you today. Right now, if I wanted to enter a trade, I would probably enter. If I use like a $1,400 as my stop loss. If I was going to enter right here at the breakout level with my style, I'd probably want to wait for like a 1250 and kind of one of the rising trend line. I'd want to maybe enter there. I don't know what it's worth, man. It's worth what I can sell to you right now. That's what I think.
Well, fundamentally, I think it's about 2.5 times undervalued, which is a great thing. Yeah. Cheds, I want to thank the community, and I want to thank people like you, because the Cointelegraph have voted me the number 90 on the top 100 most influential people in crypto in the world. And that's only because of you guys, and only because of you guys, we're going to carry on driving this. So guys, thank you so much. Let's share the content. Keep telling your friends. Keep watching this every day. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Let's move on with the show. And you guys told me not to do music. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments whether you prefer the show with the music, the one that does this, or switch it off completely. We're going to take it. I'd love to make the show exactly like you wanted. But right now, let's talk about billionaires buying Bitcoin. And this seems to be a massive movement at the moment of people, billionaires, starting to buy Bitcoin. And yesterday was no different. In fact, we broke the story here on the show that Elon Musk went to Clubhouse. And I mean, you got to appreciate what an amazing time this is to be alive. When the richest man in the world goes onto Twitter and tweets this on Clubhouse tonight, 10 p.m. LA time, with a little referral link for people to join. Obviously, he didn't pay any attention to the 5,000 maximum capacity that Clubhouse has, and it was filled in a few seconds. But I want to show you guys the video of Elon Musk and exactly what went on Clubhouse yesterday. Before that, let's talk about some other things that aren't in this video. Surprisingly, Elon said that the first human flight to Mars will be in less than 5.5 years. I mean, understand, it took NASA so long to get to the moon, and he has a private guy on a shoestring budget relative to what NASA is doing, and he says in 5.5 years, we'll be going to Mars. Can you imagine that? He also says that they've got monkeys with chips inside their brain. You know, he's also working on putting chips in our brains, which is, by the way, a chip that I would have because I trust that more than the Bill Gates chip from the coronavirus vaccine. But these monkeys are playing ping pong using their brains with each other. This is the time, this is the world we live in. I want to show you guys what else he said. Enjoy this clip. This is a live transcript from Clubhouse.
Well, yeah, I got to watch what I say here because some of these things can really move the market. So, first of all, I should say, like, many friends of mine have tried to convince me to get involved in Bitcoin for a long time, like from when it first just popped, it popped out there. And a friend of my bully, he actually had Bitcoin cake, a cake that was like had a big sort of Bitcoin symbol on it, and he fed me a slice of Bitcoin cake in 2013. So, I mean, clearly I should have at least bought some Bitcoin 8 years ago. Like, what more do people need to do? Like, Jesus, talk about being late. Talk about being late to the party. So I was a little slow on the uptake there. My apologies. But I think about it a fair bit. But I do at this point think Bitcoin is a good thing. So I'm a supporter of Bitcoin. Like I said, I'm late to the party, but I'm a supporter of Bitcoin. And I think Bitcoin is really on the verge of getting broad acceptance by sort of the conventional finance people. So yeah, I think so. I don't have a strong opinion on other cryptocurrencies. I mean, occasionally I make jokes about Dogecoin, but they are really just meant to be jokes. But Dogecoin was made as a joke to make fun of cryptocurrencies, obviously. But fate loves irony.
Fate loves irony. I love that saying because, generally the meme is what actually happens. And if you remember in Back to the Future, I think they said that Donald Trump would be president, and fate loves irony. That's exactly what happened. So Elon Musk is bullish on Bitcoin. Chamath Palihapitiya is bullish on Bitcoin. We had yesterday, we heard news, and we actually showed you the wallet of Mark Cuban, who now has alts and shitcoins in his portfolio. We've got Ray Dalio buying Bitcoin. And then we've got a whole lot of crypto billionaires. And it seems to me like these billionaires are coming across to the crypto world one by one by one. And that's huge news for the crypto world. Because when people see this, they will get billionaire FOMO, and they'll say, if these billionaires are into Bitcoin, we should also be into Bitcoin. And so this is the beginning of a big, big, big movement. And while we have some Bitcoin billionaires buying Bitcoin or getting into Bitcoin, we do have a big seller of Bitcoin. And that was F2 Pool. They're one of the biggest mining companies, and they're based in China. And over the last 4 days, they've sold, or over the last 2 weeks, they've sold about $4 billion worth of Bitcoin. Is there anything to worry about? And the whole community has been shouting at these people. The whole community has been up in arms against F2 Pool and saying, why are you selling? Why are you not in the movement? Guys, it's a free market. There's a buyer and there's a seller. If these mining companies want to sell their Bitcoin into the market so that they can use the money to buy more miners or to repay their investment for more miners, what's the issue? If I was selling, I would wait for the all-time high, and then I'd start selling my Bitcoin for the all-time high. It's not like they're shorting Bitcoin that they don't have. And if they are, well, good luck to them. Let them go short and see what happens, because we've seen what happens when they're short squeezes. But there's nothing wrong in selling Bitcoin. The only thing that you could maybe floor them for is that the sentiment in the market. Now, remember that these guys need sentiment because they raise money from people like you and I who want to get involved in their mining pools. And so the company came out, and I'll show you the tweet from the company. They say F2 pool is not a Bitcoin seller. Whales who participated in F2 pool at least once are the sellers. The addresses of the mining pool owner and his participants are different. They're in the same cluster, and we label mining rewards addresses clustered to them. So yes, F2 pool is selling, but it doesn't actually look like it's them selling. It's the people that mined Bitcoin using F2 pool. And this is exactly it. You invest money, and when the price goes up, you sell your Bitcoin and you recoup your money. And I think that this was actually quite a smart strategy. I'll tell you someone else who is super, super, super smart, and that is Michael Saylor, because as I've said before, he had a great strategy. He first learned about Bitcoin, then he bought Bitcoin, and then he made it his mission to educate people around Bitcoin. And I want to show you his latest tweet. In fact, he tweeted this about 10 minutes before the show, and he said, MicroStrategy has purchased another 295 Bitcoins for $10 million in cash on an average price of 33,808. He is buying and buying and buying. He has this insatiable demand for Bitcoin, crazy demand. Never seen anything like it. I mean, the guy owns 17,000 Bitcoin in his own name, And now he keeps buying and buying and buying. But he has a very smart strategy. And that is because he is now sharing his playbook with other corporates in a massive event that's happening tomorrow. And I want to show you the screen for this event. The event starts tomorrow, and we will be covering it right here on Crypto Banter. So we're going to tell you who's at the event. We're going to tell you what's been said, what's been seen. Let me show you the event page. That is the event page. The event is on the 3rd and 4th of February, which is tomorrow and the next day. And this is really where Michael Saylor is sharing his playbook with other Wall Street companies to show them how easy it is once someone has done it. So you can see that the speakers are big speakers. You got Michael Saylor speaking. You got people from Binance, from Coinbase, from Kraken, from Fidelity Digital Assets, from Genesis. You've got the whole world, all the biggest names in the world going there tomorrow on this massive Bitcoin event and teaching the world, the corporate world, how to do what Michael Saylor did. And remember that these corporates have got what they call corporate FOMO. They've seen Michael Saylor. They've seen him on CNBC. They've seen him saying how much money he has made. They're not blind. And now there's a little manual and a free course for anyone to attend to do exactly the same thing. And I think we're going to get a pump. I don't think the pump is going to come tomorrow, because I think these guys are going to go tomorrow and they're going to listen. And within a couple of months, I think these guys are going to make it part of their treasury. And so we can expect the pump of all pumps. When you combine the big seller that was happening with F2 pool, who seem to now have stopped selling. They sold about $4 billion or $4.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, and they seem to have stopped. And when you take that and you combine that with the fact that tomorrow is Michael Saylor Day, and he has bought another $10 million worth of Bitcoin to show exactly how confident he is. For me, this is the beginning of another altcoin run, or another Bitcoin run, which will lead to more money in ETH, which will lead to more money in altcoins. And speaking of altcoins, let us talk about that. I just want to grab a drink of water. Let me give you guys some. Alrighty, welcome back. Let me get the music off, because we promised you guys today a show without music, and I'd love to hear your feedback in the comments. If you prefer the show without music, let us know in the comments, and also just hit that like button, because we'll gauge the number of likes and then we'll decide how to do this. Don't dislike, because if you dislike, this video ain't going to be shared. And like I said to you, a lot of my crypto content in the last couple of days hasn't been shared. Why? I try to protect the community against the pump and dump. And YouTube's algorithm doesn't like the word pump and dump. And so it just doesn't share your video. So we need you guys to like, subscribe, share it on Facebook, because they give you points for people sharing it on Facebook. My producers will also start replying in the comments, and I'll reply in the comments when I get off the show. Let's get these videos viral. And especially now, because we're talking about your altcoin bags. Guys, we know that an ETH breakout means that we are in full-blown alt season. And we've been calling this alt season for a while, but we are in full-blown alt season. In fact, let's look at some of the banter calls that we make. Now, you'll remember that we decided to remain accountable to you guys by not just making calls on the show, but by actually documenting those calls. We want to document the calls. We want to document the calls on Banter. So let's have a look at that. Let's take a look at the Banter calls. I want to share this with you guys. Here are the Banter calls. So these are the calls that we've made. If you would have followed my calls in the last 3 months, because I started making calls here in November or end of October, your portfolio would be up 5x. Now, you may turn around and you may say, well, 5x, I've got friends that are making 100x and 200x and 300x. That's great. But I've designed a portfolio for you guys that is also safe. So I'm not only about getting returns, I'm also about managing risk. Yes, of course, I could put all 100x altcoin gems, and in a bull run, you guys call me a genius because my portfolio would be up 100x. But what happens in a bear market? And that's exactly what I want to drive here. If you look at the portfolio that I've set up here, every single one of these tokens is something that will survive a bear market. Polkadot, getting the network effect, will survive a bear market. Arweave, you can buy Arweave with your eyes closed every single day of the week. It hasn't even started running. Polkastarter, probably one of the most important projects in the Polkadot system. You can keep buying it. Terra Money, I called that at 29 cents. Today it's at about $2. It's done a 6x. Why? Because these guys are winning the altcoin race. Bird Money, my 100x prediction for the next big Oracle play, and so on and so forth. If you go down this list, you'll see that if you just followed my calls, just followed the calls on the show, nothing else, no shorting, no leverage, no trading in and out, just buy, look at the fundamentals, and hold, you would have made yourselves 5 times your money. Am I a genius? Absolutely not. But I do follow the fundamentals. And when you follow the fundamentals and you do the homework, well, that's exactly when you get the returns. So today, I've got 2 more altcoin gems for you guys that I think we're going to buy. Let me tell you why I'm buying these gems before I even show you what they are. And in fact, if you want to hear these gems, do me a favor. One more time, smash that like, subscribe, hit the bell, because I'm going to show you guys 2 altcoin gems. They're not going to make you 10x or 100x. But these are 2 that you can put on your portfolio, and I'm going to tell you why you can put them in your portfolio. But then I want to talk to you about the risks of Altseason, because that's a big, 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 big one for me. So why do I like these altcoins? The 2 altcoins that I've chosen for you guys are Pickle and Cover Protocol. Now, you're going to ask, wow, okay, these are not new coins. They've been around for a while. Why are you looking at Pickle and Cover Protocol? I want to share my screen with you guys because I think that's the way to do this. So let me show you why I'm looking at Pickle. Okay, let me get the Pickle price chart up on the screen. Give me 1 second. Let me share my screen. Okay, now we're looking at the Pickle price chart. You can see that Pickle is trading at $17. But I want to take you back. I want to take you back as far as the chart goes on CoinGecko. And you can see that the all-time high for Pickle was about $85. And somewhere along the line, and it was somewhere over here, Pickle absolutely obliterated and collapsed and went all the way down. This was because the DeFi protocol, or their smart contract protocol, got exploited and Pickle was stolen from the vault. But the team survived. And they're back, and they're fighting. And we can't penalize the long-term promise of a project because they got hacked. In fact, I think that hacks may be a good thing because like when Binance got hacked, they upped their security measures. I think that's exactly what happens with smart contracts. When you get hacked and you survive the hack, you become way stronger. And Pickle is an amazing team. I've been following the team. It's a DeFi protocol where you can invest and they get you yield, just like Yearn Finance, just like YFDI and all those other ones. Sorry, YFI and YFI2. But Pickle have a reward mechanism which is unbelievable in terms of staking. You can get about up to 50 or 60% APY on your money today, and this is far down the line. The price hasn't recovered yet. If you look at the price, and I showed you the price, I'm going to show you the price again. The price is at about $17. when you look at where they came from, this is an altcoin that possibly hasn't run. Do I think you're going to do a 5x on this coin immediately? No. But then again, what is your maximum downside? Because remember, what we're looking at is we're looking at upside and we're looking at downside when we talk about these things. What is your maximum downside? Look at it. In the worst corrections and the worst crash, it's gone down to $10 or $9. For me, the risk reward, as opposed to buying something that's done 100x, it's absolutely worth it to start buying these things. Let me show you another one of the altcoin gems that I told you about, and that is, of course, the cover protocol. Now, again, this is a protocol which was compromised. Yeah, I don't know if you remember, but the cover protocol got compromised and cover tokens were stolen, and same thing. They're playing in an amazing space, which is the DeFi contract insurance space. We need more players in the DeFi contract insurance space. This is a token that got hit and survived, and the team still hasn't, and the token still hasn't recovered. Let me show you guys the cover protocol price, and then you can understand. I'm buying these because I've done the due diligence in the team. Yes, they have been hit, but they will recover. And I'm going to show you in a second why I think that they will recover. Let's look at cover protocol, which I'm now adding to the screen. It's at $498. Where did it come from? Let's look. Let's call the 180-day chart on CoinGecko. Look where it came from, $600. There's a lot of upside for this to even get anywhere near its old all-time high. And the team survived the hack, or the team survived the compromise. So for me, I'd put my money on this because most people are scared. Let me show you another one where I did exactly the same thing. Another DeFi protocol, and this DeFi protocol is called Harvest, harvest.finance. Let's have a look at Harvest. Harvest was, let me show you the chart of Harvest. Let us bring it up here on the screen. And you can see that Harvest had exactly the same thing. They were trading at about $600. And then they got compromised. They got hacked. Their smart contract got exploited, and they went down to under $90. I remember because I bought some at 90 or 70 or somewhere. I bought at about $70. And what happens? Over time, the market thinks about this. They watch the team carry on developing, they carry on building. And then what happens? The token starts to recover. So the tokens that I bought at $70 and $80 are now worth $263.8. At the same time, I'm staking these tokens, and I'm getting massive returns on the staking of the tokens. I'm getting over 100% a year on the staking of these tokens. And that's why I bought these ones. Right now, I would be buying Pickle, and I would be buying Cover Protocol, and those are, for me, the recovery trade. But again, you're counting on the market continuing to go up. And for me, this market is exceptionally heated at the moment. I told you guys the other day that I'm starting to see I'm starting to see the warning signs of Altseason. And we haven't had a correction. We haven't had a correction for a long time. And the problem is that we're getting all these new players in the market coming in. I call them the weak hands, the jelly hands. Because what happens is they come in and they think that you can only ever make money doing this, right? And then they buy and the price goes up. So what do? They take more money and they buy more because the price can only go up. I mean, crypto tokens can't go down. And guess what happens? It goes up again. And they take a loan and they take more money and they say, that's it, I'm going to retire. And they buy more crypto. And then the price goes down just a little bit. And these guys are so stressed that they go, oh my God, I've just lost the car, I've just lost the house. And they start selling. And that's going to cause a massive correction in alts. I'm expecting at some point a 50 or 60% correction in alts. I don't know when it's going to come because I'm not a genius. And so what I do is I do two things that you guys should be doing. In fact, three things. One is I always do the fundamental research on a project. If you don't know how to do the fundamental research on a project, come to our station. We'll teach you how to do the fundamental research on a project, or we'll actually even do it for you. How easy is that? We post our calls. We make them transparent. We post our calls and we tell you about our research, and it's on YouTube on a video so that you guys can watch why we're buying, and we even teach you how we do the research. So do the research. Make sure that every single token that you buy, you can justify why it would survive a bear market. Because to buy a token that's not going to survive a bear market, you know that it's going to go close to zero. Buy tokens that are fundamentally strong and can survive a bear market. Then the next thing that I want you guys to do is I want you guys to take a look at this. This is a new feature that we're putting onto our website tomorrow. It's called Run's Cashometer. Yeah, exactly that. It's a cashometer. This cashometer tells you how much of my portfolio is currently in cash. Now, you're looking at this and you're going, hold on a second. 25% of your portfolio is currently in cash in the most rampant of bull markets. Yeah. Today, 25% of my portfolio is in cash. I've taken profits on the way up and I'm accumulating a bag of cash. I'm not investing more and more and more and more on the way up. I'm accumulating a bag of cash. Why am I accumulating a bag of cash? Because when that market dip comes, and it is going to come, because markets don't carry on going up forever, I'm going to have cash. I'm going to post the cashometer on our website so that you guys can see how much of my portfolio is in cash. The more heated the market, the more I'm going to go up in cash. The less heated the market, the more I'm going to go down in cash and wait for the dips. Today, I'm 25% in cash. So that is my advice to you guys. Trading Altseason, buy pickle, buy cover, but do your own research first. You can stake both those tokens and you can make money, and then follow the rules. Do the research. Make sure you only buy tokens that will survive a bear market, and then keep accumulating cash. Every day, I'm going to show you where my cashometer is. And if my cashometer goes up, you know that you should be accumulating more cash. Don't get FOMO. Don't get FOMO, guys. There will be many, many trains and there will be many, many altcoins. Take the money, put it in cash so you can invest it in another 100x gem, or that you can make the money back when the market corrects. Of course, I'm not talking about my HODL portfolio. This is just my trading portfolio. Right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring back my friend, Big Cheds. Big Cheds, welcome back, my friend. Cheds, are you around? Big Cheds. I know he's around. He will be back in a second. But guys, I urge you guys to do this. And if Cheds is around, Cheds, if you could get onto your thing, give me 1 second. I'm going to try and ping Cheds on Twitter and on Telegram. All right, we are going to keep trying to ping Cheds to get him on the line. And I am getting another guest for you on the line. So if you'll just bear with us for a few seconds, I'm going to go on with the show and these guys are going to come onto the thing. The next guest is actually on the line. Carl, are you on the line? Carl, are you with us? I'm going to ask Neil, my producer, to go on Telegram and speak to Carl while I talk about Carl's project. And remember, guys, we spoke about buying altcoin gems and buying your altcoin thing. Just 1 second. Neil, my producer, Carl is looking for a dial-in link to the show. Please, could you send him a dial-in link on Telegram? He is waiting for it. Let's just make sure that he gets it so we can get Carl on the show. In fact, give me 1 second. I'm going to get Carl on the show first. This is a big segment and I want to be there. 1 second. I'm going to get Carl on the show first. Aha, we have Carl with us. And that's going to take us to the next segment. What an amazing segment, guys. Thank you for bearing with us. So we talk about, I've spoken to you guys many, many times about projects that are fundamentally required to make the crypto or the blockchain ecosystem work. These are the fundamental pieces that we need for anything to work. Things like insurance, things like oracles. And so that's why you've often heard me saying that there are certain parts of the ecosystem which we just must have. For me, some of the tokens, Nexus Mutual, Chainlink, the Graph. Why? Because without Chainlink, we don't have oracles. And without oracles, we can't give smart contracts the data. Another one of these projects is the graph. If we want to develop amazing applications on blockchain going forward, we need to get index data. And if we want to get this index data, we need someone like the graph to provide these things. Same thing with Uniswap. If we want to get DeFi going, we need to have a decentralized exchange where machines can transact with each other. And so this next altcoin gem that I'm going to be speaking to you guys about now is, in my mind, one of the fundamental building blocks that we need if we are going to build an amazing ecosystem. I've called this 100x gem, and I think that some of our viewers and some of the people that have bought this have already seen the 100x in paid network. So today, we're not really going to talk about the price, but we're going to talk about the fundamentals of the project. I wanted to talk to you guys about the price, but look what happened when I told Carl that we're going to get him on the show. I want to show you what happened to the price. I'd love to take all the credit for it, but I think that there's a big community behind this. But let's have a look at this. Hold on a second. Let us show you the price of the paid network. I'm going to call it up for you guys here. And you can see that the price has jumped about 25%, but much more than that. And we're going to talk to him. We're going to talk to Carl about not only the price, but exactly what they're doing. So what exactly are these guys doing? And why do I think that this is such a fundamental part of the blockchain ecosystem? Well, pretty simply, what these guys are doing is they're taking on the legal part of the smart contract blockchain system. Now, you'll imagine that this is one of the scariest things to take on, because we need a legal system that will back the smart contract system. And this legal system is borderless. So whereas in the past, people paid lawyers, and they paid lawyers a lot of money to simply recreate a contract that they'd created for 5 other clients, these guys have said, no, hold on a second. Let's create these templates and let's decentralize them, and let's make this driven by the community. They've also got a insurance mechanism to say that if you do use one of our templates and you want a dispute resolution, we can have a dispute resolution. And they also have dispute resolution, they have insurance, they have a whole ecosystem to drive the legals in a borderless way behind this massive DeFi movement. And if my suspicions are right, then what they're going to do is they're going to carry on and they're going to develop it way beyond DeFi to any kind of smart contract. But let me not tell you about this. Let's get Carl on the line. Carl, thank you for joining Crypto Banter. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks. Good to be here, Rand. How's it going, man?
Good, thank you. So, Carl, first of all, congratulations on what I think was an incredible launch. I see the price has absolutely skyrocketed. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, it's done really well. People are very happy.
Let's talk about how happy people actually are, and that is right now the token is trading at 98 cents, or just under $1. What did the early investors pay for this token?
So seed round was 1.25 cents.
Wow.
So it's up. It's up. I guess about 75, 80x by now.
Wow.
In a week.
That's incredible. Let's talk about what you guys are actually doing. I try to give a little bit of an explanation for our community, but I'd love to hear it from you. As you've heard, I said that this is a fundamental part of this ecosystem because no one really knows how to regulate blockchain or the legals that drive the smart contracts. And I think that that's what you guys are solving.
Yeah, so it's really about stemming from my history as an entrepreneur and being really frustrated by the way that the dispute resolution system exists in the legacy world. Right now, if you enter into an agreement with somebody and that counterparty violates the terms of the agreement, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to go, hire a lawyer and then go to court and resolve it in court. And lawyers are very expensive, and they have no incentive to do something in a timely fashion for you. They want to drag it out as long as possible. I'll give you a good example. In 2016, I entered into a business deal with somebody and they committed fraud. Well, fraud in a business deal isn't considered a criminal case. It's a civil case. So I was encouraged to, take the person to court and go sue them. That was 2016, August. It's February 2021, and the case is still not resolved. And a $27,000 fraud has now cost over $150,000 in legal fees, 5 years of my time, countless hours in court, and this benefits the attorneys, really, and nobody else. And so,
you know the old joke of the lawyer of the attorney that goes up to heaven, and at the gate of heaven, the saint asks him, and he says to him, he goes to the saint, he says, but I'm only 36. And he says, yeah, but judging by your billable hours, you're 95.
Yeah,
and that's the problem with lawyers, because they bill you for every little thing, and they bill you by the hour, and there's a conflict of interest, like you so rightly say, because they want to drag things out for as long as possible so that they can have billable hours and bigger retainers, and you want it resolved as quickly as possible.
Yeah. And there's no reason for them to actually get that done. So that's a problem in its own right, right? And that was an example of me living in the same city as somebody. The system of doing agreements with one another to enter a business deal, and if a dispute should arise, the resolution of that system hasn't evolved in at least a century or more. So we need a solution that is modern and works in today's world, and especially when we're talking about cross-border business. Imagine how difficult that becomes. All of us are doing cross-border business, especially here in the crypto space. Everybody I talk to on a regular basis is in a different city, state, or country than I am. So imagine that I'm here in Thailand. Rand, where are you at right now? South Africa?
In Cape Town, yeah.
Okay, so you're South Africa. My business is in Panama or in Hong Kong. So if you and I enter into an agreement and I screw you over, what are you going to do? Let's say it's a $50,000 deal. What are you going to do?
I'm going to have nothing to do. I'm going to basically let you walk free because the legal fees are too expensive. Or let me guess, I'm going to go to paid network. I'm going to use some of your community generated contracts, and I'm going to be insured by I'm going to have a dispute resolution with one of your arbitrators, and then I'm going to get paid by your fund if I don't get paid by the other party, right?
Yeah, that's basically it. That would be the way to do it in this day and age, right? So, we're creating, the whole platform is based on what we call smart agreements, and they're basically, it's rethinking the whole process, right? Because Rand, if I'm going to build a website for you, there's very little information that we need to know, because when we negotiate between each other, we never talk in legalese. We talk in very simple terms. I'm going to build you a website. It's going to cost $5,000. It's going to be 5 pages, 5 different pages, and I'm going to deliver it to you within 2 weeks. None of that was complicated to understand. So why are we writing agreements that are so complicated to understand? That doesn't make sense. It's not for you. It's not for me. It's for attorneys to go through. Furthermore, it's pointless to have a contract represent a particular jurisdiction when all we're doing is making deals that are common sense with one another that really don't have any applicable local jurisdictional law. It's just common sense agreements between you and I. So what we're doing is reimagining the entire process and making the agreements much, much more simple to understand, all layman's terms, layman's written English or whatever language. And that way that you and I can clearly understand what the terms of that agreement were. And if we get in a dispute, the arbitrators in the network can clearly understand what the terms of that agreement are. And so then we have,
go ahead. I'm assuming that you pay using paid tokens to enter into these agreements or to generate these agreements, right?
Yeah, so we're going to have a combination of staking and pay per use or monthly subscription fees for the contracts, but it'll be insignificant. It won't be most likely just be a staking in order to gain access. The entire system that we've developed is about we love and we have been doing for a long time token economics. I really think that this is a really cool system where we can align all the values of the stakeholders and create really good ways to incentivize people to participate in the network. And really, that's how you incentivize good behavior, right? So the arbitrators are going to be the ones that have the highest staking level within the ecosystem, and that's going to incentivize them to make good decisions on the outcomes of disputes.
And the good arbitrators, the ones where the sides are happy, are going to get a better score and therefore get a better reputation.
Correct. And each individual or business within the network also has a reputation score. So we're tying each individual's identity and biometrics to reputation score, and it will also second as a credit score, but also a social business score as well. So if you and I conduct this website deal, and I build the website for you, and you're really happy with it, you can release. Well, first of all, before I start building it, I'm going to ask you to put the money in escrow. It's $5,000. Rand, please put the money in escrow for me, and then I'll begin doing the work. That way, I know that if I did the work and I delivered to you, and I did everything on my end, that I'm definitely going to get paid. And you know that if I do a shitty job, then you have an opportunity to get your money given back to you. So no longer do we have to go to this, give me 50% now and 50% upon delivery, because that's okay, but it's not a great solution. Our solution is a great solution. So we have escrow. Yeah, so go ahead.
I'm right in saying that these arbitrators, unlike a judge, actually have something to lose, because I'm assuming that to be an arbitrator, you have to stake.
Correct.
So it's almost like saying to a judge, listen, we want to make sure that you're confident in the outcome of the case, and therefore we're asking you to put your own money to make sure that you've made the right decision. And if you make a wrong decision, and that is as confirmed by the community, then you will lose your own money because you've made a bad decision. On the other hand, if you make a good decision, then you will be compensated.
Right. And to become an arbitrator is something we did an article about, where it could be a career choice, just like people who early ran a masternode for Dash, for example, or any other kind of validating service or whatever. If you're basically one of the core instruments in making this ecosystem survive, and it becomes very popular, and we're transacting a lot of value within the ecosystem, and a lot of disputes are being done, the arbitrators can make a really healthy living doing it, on top of staking rewards and things like that they would earn.
They are the new judges, and judges make a lot of money because there's a lot of responsibility. But
Correct.
These judges are different because they actually have to stake. Carl, we are running out of time, but I want to talk to you about something that's very important. Or actually, in fact, two things. One is, how far are you in the development? How confident are you that you can actually deliver all of this?
Yeah, I'm very confident that we can deliver it all. We have an amazing development team. Our CTO is Lawrence. Lawrence was the founding CTO of Travelocity and has a lot of experience building enterprise apps that have been used by tens of millions of people, but hundreds of millions cumulatively. So there's without a doubt that we'll be able to deliver this. And Rand, I want to talk to you one more thing too that's really important about paid network. So it's all about relationships, right? And one of the things of a relationship between investors and projects raising funds is a project that Paid Network has already launched, or launching actually. Our website's getting launched today. Is Ignition, and it's like a crowdfunding platform, something similar to Polkastarter, but we have quite a few upgrades on it. And I think this is really important to mention for people who are interested in our project, because we have really interesting tokenomics that basically people have to hold tokens in order to participate in these deals, and it's a really good opportunity for people that want to do a crowd sale on our platform, because we encourage people that participate and buy this project's tokens to hold those tokens in order for them to receive a better chance on getting involved in the next offering that we have.
That is amazing, amazing news. Now, let's talk about, where are you in the development? You've developed this, or you're launching the website for this Ignition. What about the rest of it? What about the arbitrating software, and what about all of that? When will we see that?
Yeah, so right now we already have an app that you can use. So right now it's fairly simple. Right now it's still very valuable. Right now we have basically a DocuSign on chain. So we have preloaded 7 of the most common crypto agreements that we use in the space. Everything from MNDAs, partnership and co-marketing announcements, advisor agreements, SAFs, things like that we all use every day. But the best thing is that they were drafted by one of the best crypto attorneys in the space. And like Ryan Williams of Ashbury Legal, who has represented Binance and Ripple, Constellation, etc. And this is really handy for anyone like you or me or small enterprise that we don't want to go pay a lawyer to draft these contracts, and we don't want to have to read line by line every time because we're not familiar with them. Ours are standardized. And so it's so easy if you and I want to do a partnership to open your Paid app, type, just click the box that says partnership agreement, and then we can sign it on chain and it's done. It's so much more simple than what's out there. So that's done. And then we're freezing development on this basically MVP model, and everything in the future is going to be on Substrate going to Polkadot. So we're building out, we still believe that for the full-fledged ecosystem, it's probably about 6 to 9 months away.
Wow, that's incredible. Now, I mean, let's talk about the price, because I mean, we can try and avoid the price talk for as much as possible, for as long as possible. But the reality is that this is trading at a big market cap. In fact, I'm not sure. Let's look at what is the total number of tokens in total supply?
594 million approximately.
So you're talking about a project that hasn't even really launched, and it's got a valuation of $594 million.
It's a fully diluted. It's a fully diluted market cap. So just to be clear, our mission schedule is extremely long. So we have a very low inflation rate. One of the things that includes in our mission schedule is things like ecosystem and referrals. So what we're going to do is take the Ripple approach, where we have this available that unlocks to us every month, but more than likely we will not need to use it. So what we will end up doing is we will be transparent with what we're spending it on, and anything that unlocks every month that we don't use, we will throw it back into smart contract, lock it back in. So our mission schedule will be at least 15, 20 years long. So you will never see a fully diluted market cap for 20 years probably. You have to understand that after about a year, which is what most of your viewers are interested in, our market cap is, we're only gonna have 10% or so of the tokens in circulation. So you don't have to worry about what the fully diluted market cap is. Right now, our market cap is about $20 million at the circulating supply.
That is absolutely incredible. Listen, I love what you guys are doing. I think that you guys have hit one of the biggest things. I think that you guys may be the next Chainlink. We need to give you guys time to build, to do your thing. And personally, I didn't get into the pre-sale. Would have loved to. Next time you better let me in. But I didn't get into the pre-sale, and I'm going to look to buy the dips here. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I've seen these launches, and these launches hype, and then things calm down. And for me, I'm going to set a target price. I'm going to do some more homework. I'm going to set a target price. And as soon as the dips come, I'm going to be the first guy there buying this thing up, because I think what you guys are doing is absolutely amazing. So Carl, stay in touch.
I hope that you don't wait too long, man, because we have a great token economic model, which we haven't seen a dip so far. So, but Rand, I'll give you one more tip, man, before I leave. So Master Ventures, the whole mastermind behind Paid, is now incubating our next project, and we just came out and announced it today. The project's called SPL.YT Split. It's the same model, but I mean, it's totally different use case. But we're really bullish on this one. And you missed Paid Network. You might not want to miss this one, man.
I'm not missing this one. And just after this, I'm going to put the end the show, and I'm going to call you. And not only am I going to beg you to give me some allocation for your next project, but I'm also going to ask you to give some to our community, because we love our community and we want our community to make money and to be the richest community in crypto. Carl, amazing. Love what you're doing. Big supporter, big fan. We're going to keep abreast of your progress. And we hope that you crack this one, because if you do, you guys are going to be the chain link for legals and a fundamental part of the ecosystem. It's over to you, and I actually have no doubt that you will deliver, but I'm going to keep a very, very, very close eye. Carl, thank you so much for coming on.
Take care, man. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, my friend. And that's the end of our show for today. That's the end of Crypto Banter. I'm Ran. I'm checking out. I'll be seeing you guys again, same time, same place tomorrow. Remember, guys, if you are trading, trade well. And I encourage you to take profits and to follow the Run Cashometer and put some money so that you guys can trade the dips. I'll see you again tomorrow.
Crypto Banter is a social podcast for entertainment purposes only. All opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers should not be construed as financial advice. Views expressed by guests and hosts do not reflect the views of the station. Listeners are encouraged to do their own research.